got some coloring pencils here. Let's see how many of them I'll need. I was thinking of challenging myself to do a mandala with not hugely many colors, but very often my mind tends to change as I'm doing things. So let's see how far I get. Yep, there we go. Making a start with the light blue. There we go. Let's see what other colors will follow. There. There we go. Going for these big parts first, and then I'm gonna move into the more intricate parts. It's just for some reason I thought that this would look nice in a light blue. Sometimes when I don't quite know exactly what colors I want to put in, I start from the part that I definitely know what I want to put, what color I want to use. And today is one of those days. I normally like to start from the middle, but I don't always do that. So today I'm starting from the part that I know what color I want, and that was the light blue. Hence I'm working now my way around with the light blue. There we go. There. Already half done. And I'm just continuing around. There we go. If you guys have any suggestions for what colors you might want to see in this, I'm taking suggestions. Not sure I can always integrate them, but I'm always taking suggestions. Ha! Somebody's been eating something. And that has also ended up on the mandala. There we go. There. So, how is everybody today? I hope everybody is having a good day. Enjoying their day, whether it was at work or whether it was at home, whatever it was that you was doing. I hope you enjoy your day. Whoop, there we go. So now we've got all the blue, all the light blue that I wanted to do, that I wanted to start with. There we go. And then we just need to figure out what other colors to put in. And I think I'm going to put some yellow in the middle. Let's do some yellow here. Right, so I'm counting. I had one light blue. I wanted to see how many colors I'm going to end up using with this mandala. We'll see. This is now second color. There we go. So we're getting a proper yellow core to it. And I think what I will also do is let's make that yellow. There we go. Then I think orange. Let's go next for orange. There we go. There. Footy lads saying cool. Yep. Thank you. It's cool to be coloring here with you guys today. It's nice and relaxing. There we go. So we're working our way from the yellow in the middle towards the light blue on the outside. Okay, there we go. Now we've got the middle part, and then moving on to, what color shall we moving on to? I think I'll put a bit more yellow, which is these little parts here, and then do an outer color of something different. There we go. Hope you can see this. Sometimes when the parts are very intricate, it doesn't show well on the video. That's the problem with the live ones. There we go. And almost around there. And I think what I'll do next is I'll put a little bit of let's put a little bit of green around it. Oh, I'm already on the color 4. I'm not sure. So my thought was to use as few colors as I can. And I think I'm already going to be busting through that decision. Let's see how many colors I end up using. There we go. Yellow and green. Looks like almost like stars shooting out from the middle. Although they are a bit, they look like flowers. There we go. A couple more. And one last one. There. Now we've gone around with the green. I'm just going to add a little bit more color here. I think I like it better when it's a bit darker. There we go. So we got oranges and greens and right. And then I think we're going to go back a bit and go back to the orange and go and do this part with orange. That is still 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. I do think probably gonna need something else next. There. Yep, just thinking what to do, and I think what I'll do is I'll continue a little bit with this color, and yeah, I'm planning as we go along. There. We've now gone around with orange, yeah, and then the question is now, shall I put these with orange or shall I put those with orange? Or shall I go with both? I think I'm doing these with orange. Although my pencil is not very sharp. And I guess there is a pencil sharpener around. But the pen is too big to fit in. Okay. Ooh, sorry about that noise. We shall just suffer through. Let's just plow on. I'm sure I've got somewhere a bigger pencil sharpener as well. But if I start looking for it now, who knows how long I'll be looking for it. Oops. There we go. Yeah. There. These remind me of fire. Fire in the fireplace. going around and around. There we go. And a few more. Oops, I should have put there as well. Right. Nisa is saying hi. Hello. It's lovely that you're here. Thank you very much for coming. Always nice to have people comment. I can always comment back. Hi. Feels like I'm talking to somebody, which is lovely. Oh, right. Okay, so I have now used 4 colors. So I'm still sort of following my original plan of using only a few colors. And I think what I'll do here is I'll put that there green background. Previous layer had yellow and green. This layer will have orange and green. There we go. Green is migrating upwards. Then it's figuring out what other color to put in these parts that are in the middle. Yep. Whoops. Sorry guys if the camera moved. I hit my head in it. Ah. Yep. Okay, almost gone around with this color. It's sort of coming up quite nicely. There we go. And now we've gone around. What color shall we do next? Any suggestions? I am thinking let's start incorporating blues a little bit. And for blue, I'm gonna go here. I've chosen a different blue though. Yeah, I sort of prefer this blue for these smaller areas. There we go. There. And I think I could just go around and possibly do the other big ones as well with the same color blue. Talking about these big ones that are here. I've now done the little ones. There we go. Yeah, I think let's continue. Yeah, there we go. It's sort of a scaffolding here. There. The question is just, are we going to continue it all the way in these that are on the outside? And I'm sort of thinking that we might. Unless you guys have some great ideas on what color we should put there. There we go. A couple more. And we've gone around. And one more. There we go. Okay. We've gone around a couple of times. So, what goes in next? And I'm thinking, I've got some blue. That's 5 colors so far. So I've used 5 different ones. And I am thinking, let's do some blue and yellow. And I think perhaps we put the yellow on the inside. And the blue on the outside. There we go. We might need to put some green there as well. because these things at the bottom, they don't sort of look like leaves to me. So in that sense, it might be good to put some green there. Sort of have this natural look. There we go. So far we've got oranges and greens in the middle, and now this second layer sort of that I'm doing here on the outside is gonna be a bit more, yeah, it's gonna be a bit more blue, just a bit more blue, or maybe a lot more blue. Let's see what comes up there. And the middle, we're going for that yellow, like I said. There. And I'm gonna make it strong because it reminds me of fire. There we go. Very, very strong yellow. There. Like that. And then I'll go around and do these small green parts that I said I'm gonna do green. There we go. Let's go through these quite fast because you might just not see it very well on video. There we go. So we've now got a start of a layer that is more blue. Okay, now what shall we put in between? Yeah, suggestions? What color shall we put there? I feel like making these leaves green. Go for... Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, Jaime. I am not quite sure what color that was. I was considering the red orangey thing. I wonder if he was considering the same. Some of those letters seem like they would match red, but I'm not entirely sure. There we go. So this part is going green. There. Pink. Yes. That might actually be nice. I just don't think I have a... Yes, that would be a really nice color for this. I just don't have a nice pink. To be honest, I don't have any kind of pink in my pencils. Yeah. So I'm gonna need to find something else. I'm gonna need to find something else. I've got red. I'm not sure how light I can do that. Okay, we'll go with red, just because we don't have pink. And let's hope this works fine. Let's try to keep it reasonably light. It's not quite pink, but it is a different color. And so far I've used then 6 colors. So what I set up in the beginning to do was to use a very small amount of colors for coloring this mandala, and so far I've used 6. So it means that I'm sort of reusing colors as I'm going. So far we are at 6. I think we're doing quite good. I like mandalas to be quite colorful. But the more colorful you want them, the more colors you're gonna need to sort of use. But 6 I think is a good number. Just need to keep swapping them as I go along and do more. There we go. And one more. One more. There we go. There. Not quite pink. That was the closest color I had to pink. But we've gone around with the light. And then I would like to put something a bit stronger here. And I think that will be my orange. This orange is strong and powerful, so it will pop out very well. There. There we go. And then it's just figuring out what to do with those little decorative parts that are on the outside. Oops. I'm pulling all the pencils with me that I've got here on the table, just dragging them around with my elbow. There we go. So if you hear runny noises, that's just what it's causing. Okay, there we go. So then we need to move on to these little things. So far, 6 colors used. 6 colors. I think that looks very much like that. So let's do the same thing here. So let's go for yellow. There we go. Yellow, these bright yellow things that looks a little bit like flames. Pineapple shaped flames. There we go. And then what else? So the other colors that I had were green. So let's do the base with green. And then I had, is that the light blue? I think that is the light blue that I've used around it. So here we're going light blue. And there we go. And the last one. Like that. Okay, cool. What I should probably do is to make these with the blue, as I was thinking from the start that this is what I should have done. We'll catch up with them now. I'll just go around, and I feel like that should be blue too. So this is now the dark blue. We're still just using 6 colors for this. I have not taken any new ones, and I think I can make it work. We're gonna go all the way to the end with just using 6 colors with this mandala. There we go. And what we're going to do also is, because we are sort of mirroring this, everybody can probably guess what I'm going to do with this. Did anybody guess yellow? I hope you didn't, because that's not going to be yellow. Yep, I think orange is more likely. There we go. And one more. There we go. That is done. Then let's go around with the oranges. And I'm gonna do it just as strong as I did on the other side. There we go. Like that. One more there. And the last ones here, 1 and 2. There. And then it was the color that was sort of pink, but not quite pink. So that's what we're gonna try and go for here. So that is light colored, light pinkish, red, pinkish red, reddish pink. There we go. Same here. Like that. And a couple more. There we go. And one here. There we go. There's that. Then I think, so we've got green. I'm gonna just color these little parts here as well, green. I skipped one little detail, if anybody notices. If anybody has noticed what part I've skipped that I did not make, like in the middle, just please put it in the chat. Otherwise, I shall keep that secret with me. Right, so now we've got all these. Okay, let's continue. So we still have just 5 colors here. And let's continue. I'm gonna make that blue as well. We got here dark blue. Yeah, so the aim was to make a mandala. Just color it with as few colors as possible so that I could still have a colorful feel to the mandala. And what I've done is I've used 6 colors here. So I think so far it's quite good. And if I stick to this, yeah, it will then just literally be 6 colors used in the mandala. There we go. Like that. And then the middle part, let's go again with red. This is the color that was suggested earlier on for this type of here. So I'm just continuing with that, and then it's figuring out what the other colors need to be. And I think there's definitely going to be some yellow. I think there's going to be some green. I think there's going to be some light blue. Because those are the colors. But in what order? There we go. Right. Then the yellow. I'm going to go very strong again. There. They are like flames. They're like pineapple-shaped flames. And they are turning yellow as we speak. There we go. And one more. There. Like that. And then some green. Don't know how well you can see that, but there is definitely some green going on. Yep, just bear with me. These are very small parts, but they will get done quite fast. There we go. And these as well. Okay, now I've gone around. And then it's using the light blue again for the edges. There we go. Getting that bluish hue in the picture. There. And then what color should the middle star be? So we need to figure that one out as well. Is there an obvious color? Should it be green? Should it be orange? I'm almost thinking orange. And the reason why I'm thinking orange is, yes, why am I thinking of orange? Probably thinking of orange because we've got the blues and the greens here already. So we could then go and just do that orange. Yep, let's go and do that orange. There we go. There. And orange is a nice color for a star anyway. Well, half a star what we have here. There we go. And there we go. And there is our coloring for today. Hope you like that. We made it through by using just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pens. So that was the mandala with 6 different colors. So thank you very much for coloring, for being here with me. And I hope you have a lovely end of the day. If you liked, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.